Round 4 continues here at the Yas Marina circuit. It's the Formula Regional Middle East Championship 2024 and race 2 is not far away. Now, if you haven't been able to watch all of the races so far this season, what you need to know about the race 2 grid is basically the top 10 finishers from race 1 are then reversed to set the grid for race 2. So whoever finished 10th in race 1 now starts from pole position. It's why it's very important to make sure you maximise this opportunity, and it's where tyre choice becomes quite essential. Some drivers will choose to put their second fresh set of tyres on at this stage. Others will try to keep their old set going as long as possible in order to keep one set fresh for race 3. Who's going to get it right and who's going to get it wrong? Let's find out. 2 weekends remain in the championship as we return to Yas Marina, and with a few more driver changes and a championship showdown emerging, there's definitely a few talking points heading into round 4. Championship leader Tukka Tapanen continues to lead the race GP charge, as now Zachary David and Jessica Reskedo are joined by a new recruit, Kanato Lee of Japan, an IAME Euro karting champion and 3-time winner in British F4 last season. Taylor Barnard has just been confirmed as a Formula 2 driver, which should galvanise the PHM AIX team into confidence mode. Tazin Devovazak and Brando Badua both found the podium last weekend in Dubai, and Luluki is making progress in one-lap pace. The Mumbai Falcons drop to a 3-car team as Rafael Kamara moves up to 4th in the title race, and Ugawaga Chukwu and James Wharton prepare for more tough races ahead, as Arvid Lindblad has returned to Europe to prepare for Formula 3. Pinnacle and Mari Boya are still pushing to be best of the rest, whilst Giovanni Mascio and Alexander Abgasava showed good speed a week ago, and Finley Green will be hoping to return, having had to pull out of round 3 due to a rather sudden appendicitis. There's yet another new face at Santaloc, as Teofil Nal and Jose Garfias remain and hope to add to their points tallies in Yas Marina. The new boy is Enzo Peugeot, vice champion of F4 France in 2023, so expect the new man in the team to be fast. Now that MP Motorsport have won their first race, there could be even more from the boys in orange and black. Nikhil Bora and Bruno Del Pino are usually top 10 material. Emo Fittipaldi Jr. will be hoping his issues have finally gone, and Isaac Barashi will continue to adapt. XL Motorsport have found the struggle ongoing in Formula Regional, but have been very close to success on numerous occasions. Noah Lyle was dueling for points in Dubai and could score more in Yas Marina. Yaroslav Veselaho isn't far away from that pace. Qualifying could be key. 2 teams still need to score, and Evans GP have been dangerously close and ridiculously unlucky. Both John Bennett and Costa Taparis have been talented enough for a haul of points, and now they're joined by French ace Edgar Pierre, who grabbed a podium in F4 in his home country last year. Finally, the boys at R&B Racing are consistent and determined. They never give up the fight or the faith, and Goa Ujia does have the potential to crack the points. Whilst that might not be true of teammate Wang Shongwei, you can be sure the squad will still make every effort to be there. So what does it really take to be on this journey, working your way through the driver's ladder? One man who knows is Callan O'Keefe, a man who's done it before and is now advising other drivers to do the same. Callan, just how difficult is this journey from going from relatively decent racing driver in karting to a full-class professional?
I mean, every year it just seems to be getting more and more difficult. The grids get tighter, the level of driver just keeps elevating, and I don't think the people at home really understand how much work these young drivers put in. It's crazy, you know, we don't just start when we arrive at the track for a race weekend. We're already preparing weeks, months in advance using the simulator and physical preparation. So, yeah, the level of work is immense, because at the end of the day we're looking for thousandths of a second, aren't we?
And of course, the difficulty with the drivers in the junior categories is not only are they trying to be professional racing drivers, they're also trying to balance their education and their leisure time and their family time. It must be a really difficult thing to try and manage.
Yeah, I mean, like I said to you, we're looking for thousandths of a second, and we have to remember that these are such young athletes, right? Like, they're still developing themselves. They have other commitments like school, families, their personal lives. You know, they're also people as well as racing drivers. So, yeah, it's a combination of everything. To balance it all together is super, super tricky, and at the end of the day, you know, they're spending a lot of money to be here. You get one shot at being a Formula 1 driver, a WEC driver, IndyCar driver, whatever your aspirations are, and you have to make it count. So, yeah, it's an incredibly difficult journey, but I think these young athletes really handle it really well.
Now, you're working with a handful of the drivers here on the grid. What's a daily routine like for a driver when they get to the circuit, when they start getting themselves ready for the action?
So the first thing is we arrive the day before the event starts. We do our track walk, engineering meetings, make sure that the driving and the car setup plan is completely under wraps, so they don't have to think about that while they're driving. They can just go out and execute. When they arrive on the day of a practice, obviously the first thing, again, more engineering meetings, more coaching sessions, more making sure that the plan is 100% cemented. What we really want to do is make sure the driver's not thinking while they're out there, they're just executing, because there's so much going on. If you have to think, you're always running behind. Once the session's done, we'll roll through, we'll go back to the engineering tent. And again, it's more analytical stuff, looking at onboard, looking at data, really fine-tuning where the biggest areas of improvement are, because if you can tick off the big areas first, then you can go into looking for the thousands of the details.
Now, I've said this time and time again with junior drivers, this is not like the world of football or cricket or rugby where all of the hard work is done behind closed doors. In this sport, it's all under the microscope of the pressure and the media and the broadcasting that goes on. Just how difficult is it to manage the sort of the minutiae of the pressures and the mistakes that are exposed to everybody to see?
I think the hardest thing as well is everyone's trying to run up the ladder as fast as they possibly can, and getting people to have that perspective where they just say, look, this is my journey, this is the way I'm doing it. It takes time. You know, you're not going to be Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen overnight. You have to learn your craft. You have to make mistakes, which a lot of athletes aren't comfortable with. And yeah, it's really difficult because, as you say, it's them out there. It's not us. We can prepare them as well as we possibly can, but it's all down to them. And unlike football, if you miss a tackle or you miss a pass, the mistakes in motorsport really punish you much harsher. So it's a fine balancing act. They really have to take on a lot of stress, a lot of pressure on their shoulders from the teams, from sponsors, from parents, from everything. So what a school for these young drivers to go through to learn really how difficult life can be.
Indeed, I mean, you get to see a very different side to these guys that we just don't. We see them as racing drivers in the car, but you really see the human side, the element, the character that brings them through this journey. It must be a real privilege and a real honor to kind of see what these guys are actually doing week in, week out, with their personalities coupled in.
Yeah, I think that's the amazing thing, right? There's no one-size-fits-all formula for a driver. What works for one driver doesn't work for another, and the experience and the journey of getting to know the individual behind the helmet, understanding what really breeds success, what they need to work on, watching them grow, watching them improve. It is, as you say, it's a privilege to be a part of. And you know, if they look back in 10 years' time and we've made a small difference and helped them achieve their goals, then that's a life well spent, in my opinion.
It's fantastic and really insightful. Thank you very much, Kalan, for talking to us, and hopefully your boys will have a great weekend.
Looking forward to it. Cheers.
Great to hear from Callan O'Keefe. Always good to get the individual driver coach perspective as well from the School of Zen man, Callan O'Keefe himself. Hello everybody, good to see you here at Yas Marina. We are ready for the fourth round, second race of the Formula Regional Middle East Championship in what is turning into a very exciting competition and just continues to deliver great gusto and excitement and battles galore. It is going to be a really exciting battle once again here at the Yas Marina circuit as we gear ourselves up ready for the fourth round's second race in this 2024 campaign. Jake Sanson here with you in the commentary box overlooking the circuit, and it is going to be an interesting one. After yesterday's first race, we had an interesting battle between Taylor Barnard and Tuukka Tarponen, who continued their championship rivalry, and it was Taylor Barnard who managed to take the victory in fantastic fashion, only a few car lengths in front of the Tiger, Tuukka Tarponen. And that means that Taylor Barnard was able to close in by 7 points in the championship. So now the gap has come down from 32 to 25 points. And that definitely makes things particularly exciting as we head to the second race of the weekend. Now the top 10 are reversed in race 2. If you haven't been watching the series so far, then obviously you won't be aware of that. And that means that Taylor Barnard, who took the win yesterday, now has to start the race in race 2 from 10th position on the grid alongside his championship rival Tuukka Tarponen, who was P2 yesterday and therefore P9 today. That means that the man who starts on pole position for this one is the man who grabbed the final point in yesterday's race, and that is Bruno Del Pino, the Spanish driver for MP Motorsport, the rookie champion in Euro Cup 3 last year. He manages to get himself right up to the sharp end of the field, and he'll be alongside Rafael Camara, who managed to grab a victory last week in Dubai 6 days ago in race 3. And now that he finds himself on the front row of the grid, another opportunity is knocking, but so too is the opportunity for the man starting third on the grid, Nikhil Bora, who did actually take a reverse grid win last week in Dubai. So he knows how to get the job done from this position. Also keep an eye on the man in fourth on the grid, the Pinnacle Motorsport driver Alexander Abkasava for Kazakhstan. He has actually been mighty see over the course of this weekend. So impressive in qualifying, was actually P8 in time qualifying 1 yesterday, so manages to put himself there on merit, not by fortune. Ugo Chukwu and James Wharton, the Mumbai Falcons, will once again share a row of the grid. This time it is row 3. So it'll be fascinating to see what they can get out of this one. Zachary David lining up in 4th position on the starting grid. So it'll be really interesting to see how he gets on. And it's very exciting to see what Zachary David can do from 7th on the grid. 8th on the grid is Costa Taparis, the Australian, who not only bagged Evans GP's first points yesterday in race 1, but was actually able to get it into 3rd position, so bagged points and podium simultaneously. So unfortunately, the VT we had earlier on is already out of date when I stated that Evans GP hadn't scored points so far this year. Well, yesterday they did, so now they're on 15 points. Row 5 of the grid is obviously Tuukka Tapanen and Taylor Barnard, who will renew their title rivalry. 25 points between them, and 5 races to go. So as long as Taylor Barnard can outscore Tuukka Tapanen by 5 points per race, with 6 points gained in the last one, then he can still win this championship. But that is going to be very difficult. I spoke to him this morning and I said, what's your strategy now for the rest of the season? He said, well, I've got a big enough gap to 3rd position that I don't really have to worry too much about losing 2nd in the championship. So from now on, what have I got to lose ultimately? I'm going full send, and I am going to make it happen if I possibly can. That is the absolutely fantastic attitude to have, and we'll have to see what that comes to. Row 6 on the grid, a very interesting opportunity for the 2 young drivers who really need to make a showing. We're going to get to see Noah Lyle from Australia for the XL Motorsport team, and we're also going to get to see the Italian Giovanni Mascio really hopefully step up and make a big impression on this one. Now, who's that's still got a mechanic chatting to them on the starting grid? That's a little bit late for that mechanic to still be there. It's one of the race GP cars. I wonder if that's Jesse Carrasquedo. It is indeed. So Jesse Carrasquedo's mechanic is still there on the grid, and he's the only one left. Now, that could cause a penalty for the Mexican, because everybody else has cleared the grid and Jesse Carrasquedo's mechanic is still there. Now, that is disastrous as far as he's concerned, because they really should have cleared the grid by now, but clearly there's a problem with Jesse Carrasquedo's cockpit, whether it's something to do with the steering wheel settings or whatever it might be, but Jesse Carrasquedo's mechanic should have cleared the grid by now and has not. So this is a disaster. Mechanic's still on the grid. They're actually going around for the formation lap, so this is disastrous for the Mexican. And that is definitely going to come back to bite them if that is the way it's going to carry on. So not good at all. Anyway, we'll go through the grid in full detail as Jesse Carrasquedo is left standing on the starting grid. If the whole field goes by, then he's got to start this race from the back of the grid, and the team will probably take a penalty anyway. So not good news at all to start this second race. So Brunner Del Pino lines up in pole position. Rafael Camara in 2nd, and there he is. 3rd is Nikhil Bora. He lines up in front of Alexander Abgasava. Then Ugo Chukwu and James Wharton. Zachary David is 7th on the grid along with Costa Taparis. Then 9th on the grid is the championship leader Tuukka Tapanen, and that's Mari Boyer struggling to get off the grid. We've now discarded the umbrella as we are desperately trying to fix something in the engine by the look of it. But Mari Boyer's got problems. Now, he had gearbox issues yesterday after fuel pressure problems before that. So all sorts of difficulties at Mari Boyer's Pinnacle crew at the moment. So with Tuukka Tapanen and Taylor Barnard rounding up the top 10, we then have Noah Lyle, 11th on the grid with Giovanni Mascio. Ludoki is in 13th on the starting grid, and then of course you should be alone now because Jesse Carrasquedo is still there and they're actually wheeling him into the pit lane. So if he's going to start this race, it's going to be from pit lane. That is very unfortunate. Tazanapol Invervubazak lining up 15th on the grid for this one, having charged through from the back of the grid yesterday to P15. Enzo Peugeot, the Frenchman, lines up 16th in only his 2nd Formula Regional Middle East race, as there are the marshals bringing the car back into pit lane for Jesse Carrasquedo. In 17th place is Emerson Fittipaldi Jr. He made good progress yesterday, having had all sorts of problems with the car, the engine misfiring in time qualifying, which meant he couldn't really get any decent laps. It's been the story of Emerson Fittipaldi's season so far. I've never seen his father, the 2-time Formula 1 world champion, looking so miserable at a race weekend. He was exasperated yesterday. They were doing everything they could to fix the problem. They even had to consult with Autotechnica Motorsport, the engine builders of the race engines here from Alfa Romeo, to try and see what they could do to fix the issue. But he's alongside his teammate, Isaac Marashi. So Isaac Marashi there in 18th on the grid. Kanato Lee and John Bennett. And then Gao Yujia, Edgar Pierre, the new boy, Wang Zhongwei and Yaroslav Azalaho. And then we have Jose Garfias Brando Badua, Teofil Nile, Finley Green and Mari Boyer, who were all retirements in yesterday's first race. Car number 2, Jessica Tashkedo, is reported to the stewards for the mechanic working on the car after the 15-second board, as we expected, having seen that. So very unfortunate from their perspective. It looks like they're already going to have a penalty before the race has even got underway. So very disappointing indeed from the Mexican. And that means that it's a very difficult start to the race for them. Even if they're not going to start, they could well end up getting a penalty anyway. So big difficulty. Right, the drivers are now forming up on the starting grid. And this formation lap has been very prosperous for the couple of drivers that will have got their engines and tyres up to temperatures. And obviously brake temperatures have to be taken into consideration as well. But let's see how we go in this first race of the day, second race of the weekend. Edgar Pierre just cruising and still trying to get a little bit of speed into the car, a little bit of tyre temperature, brake temperature as well, very critical. But watch for these guys at the back of the field trying to work their way forward, particularly the likes of Brando Badua, Teofil Nile and Mari Boyer. Finley Green still in excruciating pain after his appendicitis surgery last week. That meant he had to withdraw from the 3 races, so hopefully he's going to be okay this time. But the drivers are in position. We are ready to go racing for the second time this weekend. The lights are on and we are about to go here at Yas Marina. Let's race! Good start from Del Pino, cracking start from Nikhil Bora as well. He's going to draw level with Rafael Camara as they come to the first corner, and Nikhil Bora might have an opportunity round the outside. It's almost 3 wide further back as well. Bora trying to go right round the outside of the Brazilian, and he's got grip. He's going to get through to second place. Great start from Nikhil Bora. Rafael Camara has to concede for the time being as Bora gets in a second position, and the MP twins are now first and second. Del Pino in front of Bora, Camara in third position. Then the other 2 Mumbai Falcons cars are next in the mix. As running wide, that looks like Taz in the Vimazak trying to take avoiding action as the field gets a little bit clustered together through the W Hotel. Taylor Barnard tucked up behind Tuka Tarpanen but ahead of Costa Taparis. So a relatively good start for the championship contenders as they work their way through on the first lap. So far it is Del Pino from Bora. Then in third place, that is Rafael Camara, and that is Teofil Nile. He stopped out on the exit of turn 1. So Teofil Nile, his championship was going so well here at Yas Marina a few weeks ago. Now it's in absolute tatters as Barnard tries to take on Tarpanen round the outside. Has Barnard been able to finish that move on Tuka Tarpanen? He has! Taylor Barnard stealing crucial points there of his championship rival. Taylor Barnard did say coming into this race he would go full send, he was not going to hold back, and that's exactly what he's done. He's made Tuka Tarpanen look a little bit luggish there. Tarpanen's going to come back at him, back on the inside, and he nudges Taylor Barnard wide. He is going to race him today. And now Costa Taparis is coming back into the fight. So Taparis is going to try and split both men. They did go a little bit wide, and as a result of that, Costa Taparis has actually got a faster exit. Taylor Barnard's now going to take him on, and up the inside, Camara's going to try and get second position away from Nikhil Bora into the chicane. Big dive there from Abkasava, bigger dive from Tarpanen, who manages to hold on in front of Taparis. So the Tiger fights back. Great racing as Del Pino leads the way. Bora in second place. Camara now in third from Chukwu and Wharton. Camara trying to go the long way round on Bora. Bora shuts down the radius and Wharton has a little bit of a think about Chukwu on the inside of turn 1. Oh, and there's contact. Now that is Kanato Lu. He's come together with Goa Ujia at the chicane, and surely that's going to be a safety car because they are parked in the middle of the race circuit. So yellow flag at what is officially known as turn 6, although on this configuration it is right at the end. It's now gone to double waved yellows, but it would not surprise me at all if we go safety car here. Those 2 cars are stationary in the middle of the road. It is the Race GP car of Kanato Lee and the R&B racing machine of Goa Ujia. So they're both out of the race, and I think this is going to be a safety car surely, unless they can get moving as Ludiki goes wheel to wheel there with one of the pinnacles, and as you can see, they are in the radius. Kanato Lee cannot move, and nor can Goa Ujia. So a safety car is inevitable, so the drivers are going to race until they get to that point. Brando Badua has managed to get past his teammate, Brudaki, as they continue to run together. Go down the fast section of the course and up towards the new hairpin. And onto the back straight they will go. Couple of lockups, one of them from Evans GP. I think that might have been John Bennett just having a bit of a lockup, and safety car has been called. That was fairly inevitable once those two went together there in the chicane, so it was almost a guarantee. But certainly a fascinating battle so far here at the Yas Marina circuit. It's definitely been going very well indeed for Bruno Del Pino and Nickel Bora of the MP Motorsport team. 1 and 2 at the moment as we go safety car here at Yas Marina. There it is, out onto the circuit. But Bruno Del Pino and Nickel Bora are definitely looking strong here for the MP Motorsport team. Now, there is enough racetrack to play with on the far side that the safety car can guide them around. And that's not too difficult a position to extract them from either. This might only take 2 laps behind the safety car. But it's been quite rare of late that we've had a first lap incident in Formula Regional Middle East. Just one of those things, whether that's a miscommunication between Kanato Lee and Guy Ugia or just an unwillingness to comply. Let's have a look at the start again. Watch the second orange and black MP Motorsport car of Nickel Bora. He draws level with Rafael Camara, and it's the confidence that he has through that first hairpin. He just knows that the car is going to turn in and bite. Further back, Tappanen is able to deal with the cars around him and hold himself into a strong position. Tappanen now ahead of Taparis and Barnard. So Tappanen is on course currently for a 9th place finish. Barnard out the points. So 2 points gained likely for Tuka Tappanen. And there is Teofil Nile stationary. That is not the reason we went to safety car, although he is out of the race. Jesse Cadasquedo, by the way, who had those problems on the grid, did not take the start of the race. Now here's Taylor Barnard, absolutely attacking Tuka Tappanen on the first lap of the race. He did say he was going to go full send. There's no point hanging back, and he managed to get that move. Tappanen responding. You can start to sense that these two are starting to build in terms of a rivalry. Taparis managing to get through and past Taylor Barnard, and then we had the incident. Unfortunately, we don't have a replay, by the look of it, of the incident between Guy Ugia and Kanato Lee. So, unfortunately, we can't really show you that one again, although, as you can see for yourself, the extraction is already going underway very quickly indeed. The extraction team here is very quick. The marshals here are absolutely on form. They usually are. So, a terrific battle so far incoming, but Bruno Del Pino leads the way here. We'll go through the field in order. Del Pino in front, ahead of Nickel Bora, and then we have Rafael Camara in front of Ugo Ugachukwu. James Wharton is in 5th place in front of Zachary David. Then the Australian Noah Lyle, who's made a terrific start, up into 7th position. There he is, ahead of Alexander Abkasava. Then Tuka Tappanen, championship leader, in front of Costa Taparis, who grabbed his first podium yesterday. Taylor Barnard, 11th position at the moment, although there is clearly more to come from him. Giovanni Mascio in 12th. Tazin de Vuvazak 13th in front of Leo de Key. And then Enzo Peugeot, Emerson Fittipaldi Jr., Isaac Barashi. And then we have Brando Badua, John Bennett, Mari Boya, Yaroslav Azalaho, Jose Garcias, Wang Shongwei, and then Edgar Pierre and Finley Green have both pitted. Not entirely sure whether Finley Green's got... The lights are out on the safety car already. My goodness, I told you they were fast at extracting. The safety car lights have already gone out. We're going to restart, by the look of it. And I think that's actually caught out the race leaders. Yes, look, safety car in at the end of this lap. They weren't expecting it. Oh my goodness, that was close. So the safety car lights went out. Bruno Del Pino does not have a lot of experience of leading the field around. You've got to be alert, because once the safety car lights go out, that's it, you're going to restart. And a lot of drivers have not been prepared for this at all. So off we go. Fortunately, we avoid disaster, but we are under racing conditions. We're green, 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 and Rafael Camara is going to go straight after Nickel Bora, and it's side by side for the Mumbai Falcons teammates behind them, as Wharton is going to try and go the long way round Ugachukwu, and does so. Great work from the Australian. Now Ugachukwu will get the inside line back again, and that tidies up the move. He manages to get back into 4th position. Meanwhile, further back, you've got Zachary David trying to attack James Wharton to get into 5th position. Down to the W Hotel. Bora has been able to hold on to 2nd position in front of Rafael Camara without issue. Still Ugachukwu in front of Wharton, and then in 6th place it is Zachary David ahead of Noah Lyle, and Tuka Tappanen has got his way into 8th position, so he is absolutely charging. He sees Taylor Barnard down in 11th and thinks, right, I can get some points back now. I don't have to win the race, but I can certainly put on a bit of a burst of speed, and has managed to get himself into 8th position. Taylor Barnard down in 11th at the moment. This is not in the script for the British driver at all. He doesn't want to lose the points that he's already gained this weekend, as there is Isaac Barashi dueling away with Brando Badua. Up the crest and down the drop, flat on the throttle as they work their way through these winding S-bends. And apparently the number 6, has been reported to the stewards for dangerous driving under safety car. That is Brunel Pino, would you believe, the race leader, as Tuukka Tarpanen makes his dive on the inside of Noah Lyle and moves up into 7th position. So Tuukka Tarpanen is absolutely flying, but Brunel Pino has been reported to the stewards for dangerous driving under safety car. Perhaps he just wasn't aware that the safety car was going to come in. He should have been perhaps paying attention to the lights going out. And if you can't see them, you can't see them. And that's going to be his argument. As up the contact! Round goes the pinnacle. Alexander Abkasava is pitched into a spin there by the BHM AIX. I think that was Tazin the Verbazak. Big disaster as Alex Abkasava's brilliant race comes to an end. And that is Kamara now in front of Bora. So Nikhil Bora is desperately trying to keep the Mumbai Falcons at bay. Kamara's come through in a 2nd position. Watch out for James Wharton and Uga Chukwu. They're going to try and take him on now as well. So Uga Chukwu trying to get into 3rd position. And let's have a look at what happened. This is Tarpanen on the inside of Noah Lyle. No problems at all there. Tarpanen gets the move done. Abkasava, is that Barnard or is that Inter-Vivazak? I can't tell who hit him. It's definitely one of the PHM AIX cars. And that's a big damage. That's Bruno Del Pino. Del Pino straight into the barrier. No contact at all. But Bruno Del Pino spears into the wall at the final turn of the last part of the circuit in Formula 1. And Rafael Kamara inherits the lead. Bruno Del Pino is out. Big drama. And it just looked to me as though the suspension collapsed as Emerson Fittipaldi Jr. tries to go round the outside of Liunikey. Let's see what happened. Bang! The suspension just gives way, and Bruno Del Pino has nothing he can do about it. Oof. That is a nasty one for the race leader. Big drama here at Yas Marina as Bruno Del Pino crashes out of the lead with suspension failure. Marzo Peugeot gets his move now on the inside of Liunikey. Now safety car is out again. Safety car has been called once more. It's a bit of a crazy race here in Formula Regional this time. I really want to see that incident again between one of the PHM AIX cars and Alexander Abkasava. I couldn't see which of the 2 drivers it was, and Del Pino is absolutely gutted. Gets out of the car and falls to the floor. His chance to win disappears. Here it is again. Bang! Nothing he can do. An absolute passenger at this point. So unfortunate for Bruno Del Pino. But I do kind of want to see what happened with Alex Abkasava again. Because clearly one of the PHM AIX cars has pitched him into a spin. But I couldn't see which one it was. It was either Taylor Barnard or Tazin the Verbazak. I couldn't see which one of the 2 of them it was. So that could be a real headache for the PHM AIX team. Because certainly one of their drivers is going to be under some scrutiny, under investigation perhaps, for causing the incident. On the timing screen, they're going to tell us very soon indeed which car it is that's involved in that investigation with Alex Abkasava, but unfortunately the glare of the sun meant I couldn't make out the number of which car it was. I can only tell you it was one of the PHM AIX drivers. But at that point on the circuit, it was either going to be Taylor Barnard in the number 5 or Taz in the Verbazak in the number 18. They're both together on race circuit at the moment. Well, take a breath. We now have an MP Motorsport in the wall. Yellow flag at turn 15, of course. And Rafael Kamara now inherits the lead of the race. Nikhil Bora in 2nd from Uga Chukwu, James Wharton, Zachary David and Tuukka Tarpanen now in P6. Ahead of Noah Lyle, Costa Taparis, Giovanni Mascio and Taylor Barnard. And there is the recovery crew already getting rid of Bruno Del Pino's stricken car. But you've really got to feel for the Spaniard. He didn't do anything wrong there at all while he was out there under green flag conditions. He is being investigated for dangerous driving under safety car. That will essentially be not quite noticing that the lights had gone out on the safety car. You've got to look at the situation around you. So he didn't back up the pack, essentially, and that's why he's under investigation. But it doesn't really matter to him anymore because he's not in the fight for the race win any longer. So very, very unfortunate indeed there for Bruno Del Pino. So a really tough situation for MP Motorsport. They've gone from having a 1-2 to having only 1 car in the top 3, and Nikhil Bora certainly looking a little bit vulnerable to Uga Chukwu. It could be tough for him on the restart. So it'll be a really tricky situation then. So, very difficult. And now it's going to be potentially an immediate restart, because I think Alex Abkasava is no longer there at the course. But look, that's the damage that the barrier has taken when the MP Motorsport car went in. It's a very rare barrier to find a car in, of course. You don't often find racing cars parked there. But the car has been removed. So I wonder if, again, we're only going to have a one-lap safety car. And if we are, then obviously the race leader needs to keep his wits about him. They're going as slowly as possible down the straight to try and give us only one lap behind safety car. That's what the safety team is good at doing here. If it's cleared enough and the recovery vehicles are in position, look, they're backing up the pack. Rafael Camara doesn't want the same situation to happen to him as what happened to Brina Del Pino on the previous restart. We were very lucky, actually, to avoid an incident behind the safety car on that restart. The lights are still on, so I'm assuming they're going to need to reset the position of the barrier as well as extract the vehicle. So the lights are still on the safety car then. So we're not going to restart on this lap. They're going to go around one more time. So, a fascinating situation. So all of the contenders are going to battle in a very tricky race there. As pointed out by one of our viewers on YouTube, he unintentionally brake-checked the entire field because he got caught out by the ending of the safety car. Brina Del Pino, absolutely the case. Didn't do anything on purpose, just got caught out. And as you can see, look, the field is really close to the safety car on this particular occasion. Closer than I've seen it for quite some time. Anyway, let's go through the order now. We've got another opportunity. We've got another lap behind the safety car. Rafael Camara is leading the race in head of Nicol Bora. And then it's Ugo Ugachukwu, James Wharton and Zachary David. Tuukka Tarpanen in P6 now, looking for some good points here. Noah Lyle, Costa Taparis, Giovanni Mascio and Taylor Barnard are the final point scorers at present. Taz in the Vivazak in front of Emerson Fittipaldi Jr. Enzo Peugeot, Liu Luqi, Brando Badua and Mari Boya. Then it's John Bennett in front of Isaac Barashi, Yaroslav Vezalaho and Wang Shongwei. And then we have Jose Garfias, and he is the last driver in the race, would you believe? We've got 21 cars still circulating out of the 29 that should have started. Jesse Garashkedo didn't take the start. Teofil Nal broke down on turn 1. Ganato Lee and Goa Yugia collided at the end of the first lap. Finley Green and Edgar Pierre also pitted at the end of that first lap, most likely with damage for Pierre and exhaustion for Finley Green. And then Alexander Abkasava was pitched into a spin and then crawled back into the pits to retire. And Brina Del Pino has just had a suspension collapse while leading and gone straight into the barrier. So 8 drivers out of the race, and we haven't even completed, well, we've only just completed half distance actually, but it's been a very tough race for everybody. And certainly a bit of a strange one as far as Formula Regional Middle East has been concerned. We're not used to having quite so much drama and carnage up to this point of the race. So a very difficult situation for all of the contenders out there. As now we're getting ourselves ready. Safety car in at the end of this lap. We've got a bit more time to play with now. So surely the team will be able to tell the drivers, safety car in at the end of this lap. So this should be a little bit more forthright, a little bit more to normal. Now, we need to try and figure out as well what happened with Alexander Abkasava. He was pitched into a spin. At the moment, I've not got a message on the timing screen that tells me who is under investigation for that. They've obviously got a lot of things to do in close proximity, so they've got to do things in order. The safety car is in at the end of this lap, and Rafael Camara is going to back up the pack effectively this time. So we are going to go racing. And this will be interesting on the restart, because Tuukka Tarpanen is going to be right behind his teammate Zachary David, and he'll want to pick up another position. One of the PHM AIX cars is going to be under investigation for pitching Alexander Abkasava into a spin, and then, of course, ultimately out of the race. So that could be very interesting as well. We'll have to see which driver it is that's going to get the investigation. I couldn't see which one it was in the glare. Now Kamara's gone free. He's dropped the hammer out of the chicane, and that's a perfect restart. Bora and Ugachukwu are going to struggle to go with him as they come out of the chicane. And for the second time in this race, it is green, 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 green off a safety car. And a good start for Rafael Camara in front of Bora, Ugachukwu, Wharton, David, Tarpanen, Lyle, Taparis, Mascio and Taylor Barnard. into the first corner, and no problems at all for our race leader. Rafael Kamara just holding the line. And Nikhil Bora trying to get away from the American driver from New York City. Ugo Chukwu running in third position. Noah Lyle, the Australian, running in front of his countryman Costa Taparis. They may carry different racing flags on their timing screens and on their details, but Noah Lyle, despite racing under a British licence, is Australian. But the two of them are going to be scrapping away. And don't forget there's another Aussie in fourth position, James Wharton. He's going to try and work his way onto the podium. He's got to try and keep up with Ugo Chukwu and then try and take on Nikhil Bora, which you kind of sense is what the Mumbai Falcons team want to do. They want to try and eclipse the podium if they can. So Rafael Kamara looking for his second win of the season as Taylor Barnard defends valiantly to try and keep back Giovanni Mascio, having got past and into ninth position. But Mascio looking good for a points finish here as Taylor Barnard drifts a little wide, manages to get back on the road. Great driving from Giovanni Mascio this season, I have to say. He had a bit of a tricky year in 2023, but he's definitely raised his game. Up the inside, that is Zachary David taking on James Wharton. So Zachary David gets himself into fourth position. Good work from the Maltese driver for Race GP. And now Tuka Tarpanen's going to try the same trick. Do you really want to go wheel to wheel with James Wharton this early on? Well, Tuka Tarpanen clearly senses that a podium could be on. Wharton's too busy going for David. Tarpanen might have an opportunity to get past both men here. Stay hungry, stay patient. Tarpanen really has to tighten the radius because James Wharton almost went into the side of him there. And so now it's going to be David, Wharton and Tarpanen. They're going to duel for fourth position. There are already track limits warnings for several drivers out there. James Wharton is one of them. Taz in the Fuvazak is another. And Giovanni Mascio is the third. Up the inside. Tarpanen has a think about Wharton and wobbles. The car twitches as he tries to have a look. But he has to bail out of it mid-corner. And that unsettles the balance of the car. So Tarpanen now trying to take on James Wharton again. He has nothing to lose. He already has a fairly decent lead over Taylor Barnard in the championship. He wants to score as many points as possible. He's had a great season so far, so he may as well go for it. Costa Taparis trying to get close to Noah Lyle behind him as well. Here they come. Costa Taparis trying to take on Noah Lyle in the XL Motorsport car. Both drivers getting a little bit twitchy as they try and get themselves to the way to the end of the race. 7 minutes remaining in this one. Plus the additional lap at the end of it. There might not have been as much green flag running as we're used to seeing in Formula Regional Middle East this year, but there's still a good race battling as Brandon Badoa tries to go round the outside of Mari Boya. Surely he can't finish that one off. They both go wide. So essentially it's fair game. And Mari Boya manages to hold on in front of the Italian. So Brandon Badoa, who picked up 2 podium finishes in Dubai last week, has had a miserable time of it so far here at Yaz. No luck at all in qualifying all the races. Had an incident in race 1 yesterday with Teofil Nal, both drivers retiring. Rafael Kamara is just scampering away from the rest of the field. And it is number 5 who is under investigation for the contact with... It is number 5, Taylor Barnard, who's under investigation from possible contact with Alexander Abkasava at turn 7. So that is absolutely awful. As far as the luck is concerned for Taylor Barnard, if it is him that's gone into the side of Alexander Abkasava and pitched him around, surely any chance of points will be gone. Wow, this is really difficult. Taylor Barnard's just got to shake it off. He's got to forget it. He's just got to go and keep racing in the hope that the penalty is not going to come his way. He's actually trying to close down on the 2 Australians, Noah Lyle and Costa Taparis, currently running in 9th position, Taylor Barnard, but he is under investigation, and so too is Giovanni Mascio for gaining an advantage at turn 13. Oh, and so too is the number 18 of Taz in the Fuvazak, also for gaining an advantage. So quite a lot of investigations now popping up. Nikhil Bora trying to hold on to second position here in front of Ugo Chukwu, the American, absolutely determined to hold his position. Nikhil Bora in the MP Motorsport machine trying his best to hold this second place. Ugo Chukwu wants to gain more points. If he can get past, then obviously there's an opportunity for Zachary David to do the same. Nikhil Bora, having taken a victory in Dubai, doing everything he can to hold on to a podium here at Yas Marina. Rafael Kamara is looking so serene. He's going to move into third position in the championship with this victory. No worries at all for that. Down the straight they come once again. Now is a battle brewing. It's Tuukka Tarponen trying to take on James Wharton. Swarming around all over the Australian. He's trying to keep him guessing. Oh, Tuukka Tarponen. I really thought the Tiger was going to pounce on James Wharton at the last moment there into the chicane. Wasn't quite able to make it happen, but I tell you what, Tuukka is feisty today. Not that he isn't half the time anyway. Ogachukwu and Bora side by side for second. Watch out, Zachary, you might get a chance here. Bora trying to go the long way round on Ogachukwu. They're both going to drift out wide. And Ogachukwu will finish the move here. Nice work from the McLaren Junior. Into second place. Zachary David now going to try a similar move to get past Nikhil Bora. Bora being smart there, moving into the middle of the road. That means that Zachary David can't go left, can't go right. He doesn't quite have the traction or the positioning of the car to deal with where Bora's placing him. But I'm afraid to say that MP Motorsport's fairy tale is turning into a nightmare. Bruno Del Pino already out of the race, and Nikhil Bora struggling to hold on to third in front of David as Costa Taparis in the Evans GP drifts slightly wide at the penultimate turn of the Formula One configuration. Here comes the move from Zachary David, takes on Nikhil Bora. Bora going to try and hold him round the outside. He goes wide onto the curbs, holds third for the moment. But Zachary David will want the move, expect something to be on here at the hairpin coming up. Bora drifts out wide. He'll try and place the car in the middle of the road. He'll know that Zachary David will want to try and go for the beard. He goes for it, and Zachary David makes the move, but he locks up. Can Bora get him back on the switch? He does. David drifts wide. A great undercut manoeuvre there from Nikhil Bora to hold on to third position for the time being. So Zachary David's going to try again. Down at the chicane. Bora's got to be defensive. James Wharton's closing in on them now as well. Oh, it's going to be a late bid from David. Is there going to be space for both? Look at James Wharton. He could get a fast exit off the turn here. Zachary David looks to have gone slow in and fast out. Bora's really going to have to work hard to keep Zachary David behind him. James Wharton will get the slipstream as well. And Tuukka Tarponen is not far away. 3 wide. Wharton will go for the inside of Bora. David will try and cut it round the outside. And that's brilliant from Zachary David. He'll get second place. Wharton can't finish it. Zachary David moves up into B3 behind Kamara and Ogachukwu. Amazing driving from Zachary David. And that's put poor Nikhil Bora all the way down to 5th position. Lock up from Costa Taparis. He's going to drift wide onto the runoff at W Hotel. He'll get back on directly in front of Taylor Barnard. Barnard will come fast out of the hotel corner and might just get the run. So Kamara leads, Ogachukwu second. Third place is Zachary David, and James Wharton trying to put his car on the podium to make it a Mumbai Falcons washout. So can James Wharton get onto the podium? Bora in 5th, Tarponen in 6th place, then Lyle, Taparis and Barnard. The final point is currently being debated between Giovanni Mascio and Emerson Fittipaldi Jr. Great to see Fittipaldi Jr. back where he belongs, fighting for points. That's more like it for the Brazilian. So it's great to see that he's really starting to get the opportunities again. The two leaders are well got. Tarponen dives in on Bora. Lovely move from the Tiger. Bora's going to try and fight round the outside. It's not going to happen. He tries to get back in alongside Tuukka Tarponen. He has to come in behind him. Nikhil Bora won't like that, so he'll try and attack again. Tarponen will squeeze as much as he can, but Nikhil Bora has nothing to lose here. Tarponen has plenty to lose. Bora will try, finishes off the move. Tarponen has to bail out. He'll go slow in and fast out though. So Bora is actually going to be compromised on the exit of the chicane. Here comes Tarponen again, drawing level once more. Watch out for Lyle, Taparis and Barnard behind them. Tarponen's going to get squeezed. Bora chops across the circuit. Noah Lyle's going to get past Tarponen. So is Taparis if they're not careful. They've really got to breathe in and take this carefully. Tarponen goes round the outside of Noah Lyle, holds the place. And now Taylor Barnard's going to try and take on Taparis. Lyle is trying to keep Taparis behind him as well. Barnard trying to go the long way round. And Barnard's going to get past one of them at least. Gets past Taparis. The back end steps out. Lovely racecraft from Taylor Barnard. He gets through on Costa Taparis. Terrific driving. Now there's a little bit more work at play here. Nikhil Bora has been able to come through at the head of the train. Oh, and round goes Costa Taparis, very nearly spins it. Manages to catch the car and get it back, pointing the right way. And there's 3 cars now in the battle for the final point. That is Mascio, Fittipaldi and Boya. And there's a yellow flag at turn 9. It's Gao Yujia, I believe. No, that's Wang Shongwei. So Wang Shongwei has had a spin. Looks like he's trying to recover it once more. So Wang Shongwei, I think we avoid the safety car because we have run out of time. So now we're waiting for the leader, Rafael Kamara, to come onto the final lap. Diving up the inside, Tarpanen takes on Bora once more. Bora still valiantly tries to beat him. But again, Tarpanen squeezes him. And again, Nikhil Bora is going to be angry. Tarpanen trying to shake him off the toe. There is Rafael Kamara. He is going to come onto the final lap this time by. Out of the final turn, and it's safety car. Safety car. We're going to finish this race under safety car, I'm afraid. So Rafael Kamara goes into what is the final lap, but the safety car is coming out. So it's going to be Kamara that takes the victory in front of Ugo Chukwu and Zachary David. There is a double yellow flag at turn 9. Is that Wang Shongwei? Has he stopped the car in a dangerous position? Well, we've certainly had our dramas in this one. Only 20 cars still circulating by my maths. But I think Wang Shongwei's car is in a dangerous position. I'm afraid the Chinese driver has stopped the car. And that means that we have to end this race under safety car. Very unfortunate, incredibly frustrating as well for both you and me. Well, it looks to me as though that is going to be all she wrote in this one. So disappointing. We could have had a real nail-biter of a finish there. The leader is on the last lap. The race will finish under safety car. It has been confirmed. So for the second time this year, Rafael Kamara is going to take a victory for the Mumbai Falcons. Ugo Chukwu will be second, and Zachary David will finally return to the podium here at Yas Marina, where he got his first of the season. James Wharton is going to be in 4th place. Tuukka Tarpanen is going to be in P5. That's very useful points indeed for the Finn. Nikhil Bora in P6, Noah Lyle in P7, Taylor Barnard in 8th, but under investigation for his incident with Alexander Abkasava. 9th is Costa Taparis, more points for Evans GP. And in 10th position is going to be Giovanni Mascio of the Pinnacle Motorsport team. His first point in Formula Regional Middle East. And I have to say, that is very well deserved indeed for the Italian, who's made massive progress in the last 18 months. I managed to catch up with Giovanni this morning before we got underway racing, and he looked a lot more confident, a lot more composed. He's always looked a little bit shy, a little bit nervous at times, but he really is starting to grow in stature now. And getting to the top 10 for the first time, that's definitely going to help his confidence. So great work from Giovanni Mascio. Mari Boya just missing out on the points, so too Emerson Fittipaldi. Enzo Peugeot, Tazin the Vibazak, Brando Badua, John Bennett, Jose Garfias, Isaac Barashi and Yaroslav Vezalaho are going to be the only finishers. Oh, Wang Shongwei is still circulating, so the car that's actually stopped out stationary on the circuit that has brought us to the safety car is actually Liu Ruqi. So Liu Ruqi is the one that has not come through. He's the reason we're under safety car. Haven't seen why. Lights out on the safety car, but of course there's no overtaking, so it's moot point anyway. So it's actually for Liu Ruqi that we're under safety car. There's a double yellow flag at turn 9. Now that is going to be where we're approaching, I do believe. Oh no, it's turn 1. I apologise. So it's going to be cruise control over the line, but the Brazilian driver, Rafael Kamara, is going to get his second win of the season, putting him firmly into 3rd position in the Drivers' Championship at this point. Rafael Kamara wins for Mumbai Falcons ahead of his teammate Ugo Chukwu. 3rd place for Zachary David. Mumbai Falcons can celebrate their 2nd win of the year for Rafael Kamara and their 3rd win of the year total after Arvid Lindblad's reverse grid victory in round 1. Excellent work from Rafael Kamara, managing to not only get the lead but to stretch away. He didn't even need the safety car to get this race wrapped up. Great work for the Brazilian. The confidence is finally with him again. And he is the ipso facto team leader at Mumbai Falcons now, in much the same way that Andrea Kimi Antonelli was last year as a rookie. Rafael Kamara, the Brazilian, part of the Ferrari Young Driver Academy, of course. And and coming through to get his second win of the season. That will firmly put him into third place in the Drivers' Championship. A fairly easy win for sure, says Lotta Shelvin, and he's absolutely right. Rafael Kamara made that one look very easy. So some fantastic stuff all the way through that race. We didn't quite have the full length distance that we wanted. Let's look back over the highlights. Nigel Bora going wheel to wheel with Rafael Kamara right to the first corner and actually pulling off a superb move for second position. It was great to see the MP boys in first and second after the miserable start to the year they've had. But it wasn't going to finish that way. Very unfortunate. As the field worked its way through on the opening laps, Tuukka Tarppanen and Taylor Barnard getting stuck in. That was one of the first big moments of the race. To see Teofil Nal stopped out on the circuit. Now here comes the battle between Tarppanen and Barnard. Watch the number one, Race GP, in the middle of your screen. He swerves to avoid Barnard, protect him on the inside. So Barnard thinks, right, I'll just go around the outside of you. And he manages to finish that move beautifully. Wasn't easy to get the job done. Tarppanen dives in on Barnard. This is for the championship between these two, don't forget. And Tarppanen determined he's not going to let Barnard get away with a cheap move like that one. Safety car came out for Kanato Lee and Goa Yujiya. And then we had a very clumsy restart because Brina Del Pino wasn't aware we were going to restart until the last possible moment. So he's under investigation for that, sadly. And then on the restart, we had Kamara battling away with Nigel Bora, trying to go for second position, managing to get the job done. Great dueling between Wharton and Ugachukwu, along with Zachary David. And then we had this moment as Abkasava gets pitched into a spin by a very determined Taylor Barnard, and I'm afraid that could come back to bite him later. Abkasava with a broken rear wheel, retirement for him, and then bang! Brina Del Pino from the lead of the race spears straight into the barriers at the final corner of the F1 circuit, and any chance he had of the win disappearing. Safety car out for a second time. And then on the restart, Tuukka Tarppanen and Zachary David putting on some great racing for the Race GP team against the Mumbai Falcons. Some excellent battles all the way through. Mari Boyer getting himself in the mix there with the likes of Liudiki and Brando Badoa as he tried to work his way through the field after his problems with gearbox yesterday. Almost got the points as well, Mari Boyer. Then Zachary David pulling off some choice battles with Nigel Bora, managing to fight his way into a podium position once Ugachukwu had got through into second behind Kamara. This was very impressive from Wharton, diving in on the inside of Bora and David. But watch David, just pure confidence round the outside, managing to hold it, and that's good enough for a podium place. Then we had some big moments further back as Taparis locked up. That is what put Taylor Barnard onto his case. Tarppanen diving for Bora on two separate occasions. The first time it didn't quite finish off the job. The second time it really did. Nigel Bora wasn't happy about it. And then unfortunately, thanks to a retirement from Liudiki, we have to finish the race under safety car. But Rafael Kamara and Ugo Ugachukwu, 1-2 for Mumbai Falcons. Third place for Zachary David. And solid points for Noah Lyle, and first points for Giovanni Mascio. Great racing at Yas Marina and some fantastic performances there. The XL Motorsport team finally get off their 1-point streak. Noah Lyle scoring 7th place. And that's going to be good enough for 6 juicy championship points for the XL Motorsport team. They can be very happy indeed with that. Costa Taparis bagging 2 more points for Evans GP, the team that hadn't scored a single point before yesterday's first race. And Giovanni Mascio getting into the points. They could even be elevated up a place, those two. Because Taylor Barnard, who crossed the line in 8th position, well, he's under investigation for the incident with Alexander Abkasava. So there's a potential that he may not be able to keep his points, and that would definitely also potentially cause an issue for race 3. But certainly for the Brazilian driver, Rafael Kamara, he will take the victory. Ugo Ugachukwu will take the Rookie Cup victory ahead of Zachary David. And fans of Tuukka Tarppanen will be delighted because he's been able to fight his way through from 9th on the grid to 5th position. So excellent work indeed there from the drivers in position. Only 20 drivers finishing the race. A lot of attrition in that one. And plenty of retirements from Liudiki, Brina Del Pino, Alexander Abkasava, Edgar Pierre, Finley Green, Kanato Lee, Gao Yujia, Teofil Nal and Jesse Karashkedo. So after a fabulous performance then from Rafael Kamara, he takes the victory here at Yas Marina. A brilliant battle in front of Uga Chukwu and Zachary David. A great race and a fantastic battle. There's going to be more to come, of course, when we have our third race of the day, third race of the weekend, sorry, and that is going to be in a few hours' time. We also have all 3 races to come from the F4 UAE Championship here at Yas Marina, so do not go too far away. Race 2 has been a good one for Rafael Kamara and the Mumbai Falcons. There'll be more to come when we are ready for race 3. Podium ceremony underway then, and a fantastic performance then from all of our contenders. Really good run from Rafael Kamara, excellent performance and a great display, and a terrific run, excellent performance. So Rafael Kamara, Uga Chukwu and Zachary David taking the podium positions. We are very proud indeed of a fantastic second race. Now we go a little later on. Thank you very much indeed for all of your presence and all of your company. We will continue in fantastic stuff.